Boop, boop. Man, I think I'm on the bottom floor, but I'm not sure yet. Welcome back, everybody. I'm Jade Monkey. We're back here in DayZ of all places. Believe it or not, we're talking about that 1.13 experimental that's out for the PC and Xbox, but have no fear. PlayStation will be right behind that, as they don't have like a system for it quite yet. So this is basically what's going to be coming for Live Branch once it's stable. So yes, we're back in DayZ for a hot minute. Hey, that was a little weak, but we got it. So yeah, we're going over these changes. I'm going to get to the rooftop and try to read through these, as I am on the Xbox Series X right now. This would be a PS5 equivalent. So I'm going to try to read these off to you. There's quite a bit coming through here. And admittedly, we haven't been playing a lot of DayZ as of late, but we will be rotating it with Rust quite heavily once things kind of settle in over there. Because we've been playing DayZ for a hot minute. You know, it's open world survival. It's definitely in our wheelhouse for sure. And my monitor over here is freaking out. Sweet. Okay, well, here we go. So it says, we're happy to announce that we're releasing the experimental build of the game 1.13 on Steam and Xbox today. And again, this is just experimental. It'll come to PlayStation as soon as it hits Live Branch. To everybody, basically. As usual, this article is not meant to provide a full overview of the build, but rather point to specific parts of the update we would like to get feedback on, aside from overall stability. We are also trying out a new approach with this experimental release by providing servers called DayZ Inland with a specific setup which will give you a head start, spawning more inland with better gear. That's cool. I did see those two on the list, by the way. And allowing for testing new features faster than before. If you fancy testing the whole loop, the whole gameplay loop, however, there will still be classic vanilla servers for you to play on, which we are on currently, as a big part of this game update has to do with further iteration on infected AI. Our 1.13 efforts can be summed up as follows. A stealth approach is now more viable because of increased noise dampening, lesser ability of infected to hear you through noise obstacles. To hear noise through obstacles, excuse me, so more like real life. A lowered noise from a player's crouch sprint. Infected are now attracted to smoke grenades, flare guns, fireplaces, and explosions. How about that? Infected are now more likely to leave the position of unconscious players, preventing frustrating cycles of unconsciousness. Reducing range in which infected can call for help from nearby infected. All infected attacks are now blockable. That's pretty sweet. Overall infected attack speed has been reduced, but not down to 1.11 rates. Apparently that was pretty slow back then. Balancing of damage and bleed chances. It's hard for me to read and walk around, so I don't fall off the rooftop. I kind of wish I had the overlay for this, but yeah, I kind of want to get in here and show you this. Balancing the damage and bleed chances dealt by various infected types, generally scaled according to a player progression through the world. Oh, that's interesting. And last but not least, we're introducing new types of infected. Okay. Mostly patrol various points of interest and have their own strengths and weaknesses. We won't tell you any more than this. You'll have to figure it out. That's cool. So kind of like little boss fights, maybe? Question mark. We've looked into player versus player combat based on feedback we've received from build 1.12. The unconscious state length is now tied to the caliber. That's pretty sweet. So if I were to shoot somebody with like a BK-133, that'd be pretty good. Am I right? What? Do I not have sound going on? What's up? What? That's crazy. Okay, well, let's keep going. I don't know why my sound isn't coming through here. That's weird. Okay, maybe that's a glitch. I just now realized that. Oh my goodness. Okay, let's holster this real quick. We'll keep walking around the roof. Unconsciousness state is now tied to the caliber. The vest no longer covers the arms and damage system settings. So yeah, that's good. So the bullets don't, or the bullet system and hit damage and all that stuff. Okay. Shoulders are now part of the chest zone, previously arms. Hips are also part of the torso, previously legs. Additionally, we increased shock armor on legs, thereby reducing the chances of double punishment in the form of both unconscious state and a broken leg. Oh man, I'll miss that. Tweaks are also applied to the damage zones of the arms, resulting in less health damage suffered from getting hit in the arms. Okay. We've introduced chances of wounds to get infected. This means from now on you should always keep an eye on which item is used to treat wounds. We've added a new label on the items displaying their disinfected state. That's cool, which allows you to quickly recognize which items are safe and which are not. Damaging disinfected items removes the state and requires applying disinfectant again. We spent some additional time revisiting all disease symptoms and added a bunch of new ones, which helps us differentiate between diseases. While this has not yet been fully applied, it kind of threw me off that the sound was off in here. I wonder if that's like my setup or not. It's not been fully applied, but we can already see preview of the wound infected disease. You can already see a preview of the wound infection disease, which should be simple to recognize from other diseases. It is also a disease where we have implemented stages with different effects and treatments. This is a long one. As tested last week, we introduced the M16A2 assault rifle into the game. The iconic rifle comes with a burst fire mode, which also implemented for 1.13. We primarily have been looking for feedback regarding the way the burst fire mode works, which is currently set to hold down the fire button to shoot at full burst. Speaking of firearms, we've also looked into various weapon attachments for more pronounced differences. I think that's misspelled. Dispersion, recoil, sway. Besides that, we've added some cool weapon attachments, melee weapons, bouquet. So keep an eye out for things lying around during the experimental adventures. Some smaller gameplay tweaks include fireplaces to be lit even under bad conditions, rain or wind, tight, which end up giving you audio, visual cues on what could be wrong with the current surroundings. There's also a guaranteed lifetime plants on garden plots set to 2 hours before the timer kicks in and eventually spoils. Okay, so it's a bit more realistic for that particular setup. We hope you're going to enjoy the time on experimental servers, and we're looking forward to their feedback. If you're eager to learn more about everything that's been added and the change, you can visit the official forums and check out the changelog, which I'm sure we'll put one of those out there too. But hey, that's man exciting. I know we're going to carve out some time to do some of the experimental runs here on Xbox to give PlayStation players and Xbox players a good idea of what's coming on the pipeline for us. Typically how these work, a lot of the PC changes come through, and we should get all of the changes PC does, but we don't necessarily see as many iterations as the experimental Xbox does, or I'm sorry, as PC experimental does, but we do get all of the changes across the board, and that does include PlayStation as well. So just because it's on here on Xbox and Steam doesn't mean PlayStation's not getting it. Just remember, it's like a Sony thing. They still have to make a program for that. Again, fingers crossed, I hope they do something like that this year, but I haven't heard anything officially, so yeah, I hope they do, because it makes the game better for everybody, and then it's always better when you've got more people in the mix and stuff. So all right, if you did find these useful and helpful, be sure to drop a like on the video. If you're not already subscribed, consider and turn on those notifications if you do think that's something you would watch. And we'll see you guys in the next video / live stream. Look for a DayZ stream here in the near future. Again, we're juggling quite heavily Rust and DayZ, so you know, open world survival, either way you cut it. So it's a good time either way. So hopefully we see you in one of the live streams. Love you. Bye.